are here. Melissa Higgison was unable to attend last minute. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public comments. If you wish to address the board during the public comment section of the meeting, please put your name, address, and subject on an index card, such as this. Give to Deb Hayes before the start of the meeting. Individual public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Action items. Action item 2.1, Memorandum of Understanding with the Munster Teachers Association. Can I get a motion to approve the Memorandum of Understanding with the Munster Teachers Association?
I move that we approve the Memorandum of Understanding with the Munster Teachers Association as presented.
Can I get a second?
John Doherty, second.
And any discussion?
I did want to share with the board, you've seen this obviously, the Memorandum of Understanding, and kind of hence the reason why we're doing the timing of this meeting. Any MOU, which this is called with the Teachers Association, has to fall within state law guidelines within the bargaining term, and that expires November 15th. So we are doing this as a special board meeting because our next regularly scheduled board meeting would be November 16th. So the Memorandum of Understanding states that we want to provide teachers with a $500 stipend for the school year, and we have provisions in there if you're on leave or you're a temporary teacher for a semester that you will receive half of that at $250. So you've seen this. The Munster Teachers Association president has signed that. Debbie Hayes has a copy of that, so if it's approved, the president and then the secretary, which I imagine would be the vice president instead of the secretary not being here, will sign that tonight. So as you see, it's basically $500 as a stipend for the school year, or $250 for a semester, for, again, just a lot of those extra duties that are being done because of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Any other discussion?
Just a quick question, Mr. Trippenfellis. At what point would we have discussions about which are temporary, where they're leave? Would we be informed of where those all fall?
Well, all the leaves are presented to you as a school board. So you'll see that. And if you see in the Memorandum of Understanding, they have to be employed as of December 1st and providing instruction during that semester for each one of those. So you'll see all those, and you approve all the temporary teachers as well who fill in for them. So you guys would get that at regular board meetings,
Right.
and we're using that basically as a list of individuals. At this time, we have 2 teachers who are temporary, who are working only at the first semester. If that leave continues through the second semester, then they would be eligible for the second half at that time. Does that answer the question?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank our administration and the MTA administration, as well as our attorney, Angie Jones, for making this happen in a short period of time. So thank you. I know that was a lot of extra work and extra meetings, but I do think we think this is important. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Action item 2.2, certified staff stipend amounts. Can I get a motion to approve the certified staff stipend amounts as presented?
So move.
Can I get a second?
John Castro, second.
And any discussion?
As with this, this will allow us to provide a stipend to all those certified staff members who are not covered under the collective bargaining agreement. We have several different positions that are there, and so we want to be able to provide those people who have a teaching license with that, who are not part of the collective bargaining agreement. And we kind of do this normally anyways. As you see, we have people like school psychologists and educational interpreters and people like that, that we try to do the same thing with the teachers, although they're not part of that association.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Action item 2.3, can I get a motion to approve the classified staff stipend amounts as presented?
John Doherty, so moved.
Ron Stojic, second.
Any discussion?
This one will be a little bit more of discussion, but what we also want to do, again, in the idea of the pandemic, that everyone is stepping up and doing a lot, is we want to provide stipends to our classified staff, and those are all individuals who don't have a teaching license. And unlike teachers who sign a year-long contract, so it's easy to give something for the year, we're doing these by semester because they're more at-will employees and there's more movement in those positions. So we are recommending that a stipend be given if you're employed on December 1st, and then a second stipend given if you're employed on May 1st of 2021. And you have to have a minimum of 250 hours each semester to be able to obtain a stipend. And you can see the breakdowns there that we did of the different hours that they serve. So people who are more full-time fall into this bottom one, which would be $250 a semester or $500, just like the teachers. And then we have some of our part-timers here who don't teach, or not teach, but don't work maybe a full 7 or 8 hours a day, or only partial schedules. So those would fall into these lowered amounts for each semester. And then we wanted to make sure, because our bus drivers probably are on the front lines more than anybody else as they're driving those buses, that regardless of their hours, we wanted to make sure that they receive a minimum of $200 a stipend each semester. Almost all of them fall within the 250 and the 200, but we have 1 or 2 of them that may fall in that 150. And we felt that with them always being the first one to see the kids and the first ones to drop the kids off. And they're the ones, if a kid comes to the bus stop, has to have the mask ready and all those other things and all those additional duties. And then we also wanted to reward some of them who were doing some extra duties for us and traveling with a lot of our clubs and activities on after-school things. We wanted to give them an additional $50 each semester for a stipend for them. But they're listed there for the hours that they work per semester.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Action item 2.4, can I get a motion to approve classified staff raises effective 12/27/20 as presented?
John Castro, I move we approve classified staff raises effective 12/27/20 as presented.
John Doherty, second.
Mr. Truppenfeldes?
And this one requires a little bit more discussion. You usually do this at the December meeting, and we've done that for the last few years. But we also realized that if we started giving our classified staff individual stipends, they may think that's the only thing they would be getting this year. Even though we've had the COVID pandemic, we do have the funds available, and we had planned for this, and we had talked to you guys back in August about this already as a school board, about doing these raises. So we wanted to announce this in November, a month earlier than we normally do, but also because our classified staff will realize that they will receive the stipend, will also receive their regular raise that they would normally get. And what we've done is, Mr. Melby and I actually did a pretty extensive study of the region schools and found that some of our positions that you'll see here that have some higher raises listed are much lower than our competitors, if you want to call that, other school districts. So what we're recommending to the board is that bus drivers receive a $1.40 per hour raise if they've received evaluation ratings last year of outstanding or very good, and if they've received just a rating of good, that they receive $1.20. And again, that is because we are much lower than some of our competitors, so we want to get those wage rates up to be more competitive. Our mechanics positions, we're requesting a raise of $1 for them, again, outstanding and very good, and then 80 cents, obviously, if it's just a rating of good. Clerical and secretary positions, basically the same raises that we'd like to give to our mechanics, $1 or 80 cents. Head custodians, 50 cents for those highest 2 evaluation ratings and 40 cents for the 3rd rating. Our treasurer and systems administrator, we'd like to provide a raise to of $2,000, which is what equal to the teachers that they received this year. And again, the ratings of the highest 2 categories. And then all of our other non-certified staff, we recommend a raise of 40 cents per hour for those who received an evaluation rating of outstanding or very good. And those who received a rating of good would receive a 30-cent raise. We'd like to make this recommendation that they all take effect December 27th, 2020, because that would mean that the first paycheck then in January would have that raise in it, so that'd be payable January 15th. We also want to make sure you guys understand that all of our raises we treat very similar to teachers. So if that wage rate increase causes an employee to exceed their maximum wage rate for that position, we calculate what that would be and the difference and give it to them as a stipend and don't give it to them as a base raise. So that's also in this recommendation, which is very similar to what you guys have done the last 2 years for our classified staff. And if you remember last year, we did some different ratings for even some of our instructional assistants and non-instructional assistants because we saw differences there, so they got a little bit more. This year, those 4 or 5 positions, we believe, to be competitive, need a little bit more to match our other local school districts.
Good. Any other questions for Mr. Truppenfeldes? All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Action item 2.5, Can I get a motion to approve the classified staff wage rates effective 12/27/2020 as presented?
So move, Rana Stojic.
John Castro, second.
Mr. Trippenfeldes?
And as you'll see, every time we look at raises, we also look at the minimum and maximum wage rates for each of those classified positions. And this is available online, so if people want to look at it afterwards, they can. Anything highlighted in green, you'll see that we're recommending that there be an increase to the minimum and maximum. Again, based upon what our research was with the local school districts to see where we were with min and maxes. So those listed in green, we are recommending an increase to, which again affects how much someone's rate can go up to and what they actually come to us with as a rate. And again, this is something you guys do normally in December when we do the raises. But we're doing it hopefully, well, we're doing it a month in advance so that everyone knows what their raise will be come January.
Any questions? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Action item 2.6, administrative contracts. Can I get a motion?
John Castro, I move that we table action item 2.6 until a further meeting.
Can I get a second?
John Doherty, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Motion's tabled, sorry. Action item 2.7, administrative fringe benefits. Can I get a motion?
John Castro, I move that we table action item 2.7 until a future date.
John Doherty, second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is tabled. I think we had some questions for our attorney who is out of town right now, and Melissa Higgison is not here, so she also had some questions. So we will get that back on the agenda as soon as we can. Any items that may properly come before the board? All right, and then individual public comments. Mr. Martin.
Hello, thank you. I think it's great that you guys are raising classified staff wages, so that's commendable, thank you. Congratulations to John Castro, John Doherty, and Ingrid Schwartz-Wolf on your reelection. This is for the whole board. I sincerely hope that we can have some candid and productive conversations and outline some next steps of action to address many of the areas of improvement within our great schools, including but not limited to race, bullying, communication, students with special needs. Today, I'd like to ask the questions I asked in writing when I requested these items to be added to the board's meeting agenda back in July. I would like to hear your responses at the next meeting if possible. The conversations that I've had throughout the campaign process, through listening sessions with parents from different schools, add supports for these questions. A common theme in conversations with people is that when they complain to school administration, that their complaints were swept under the rug or ignored. Is there a transparent system or process for the school board to investigate these and other grievances and provide rationale for the decisions in a fair and accountable manner? If so, what is it? If not, what can we do to help you make such a process now? With regards to residency checks, what data and information can be provided about how residency checks are implemented in an equitable and consistent fashion? Many parents and former students of color shared how they received multiple residency checks within a couple of years, while others received few or none. We should want to be very clear about how a child or family is selected for a residency check. If we can make sure this process is as objective or randomized as possible, it will be more effective in preventing unlawful enrollment and keeping trust with all of our families. With regard to training for staff, what training has been provided, but more importantly, what training will be provided now and in the future to educate the staff and administration about implicit bias, systemic racism, white privilege, white fragility, and how to be anti-racist. I suggest inviting someone like Dr. D'Angelo or Milton Reed, who's doing some of the same work in the Hammond school system recently, to help guide the staff in a consistent and authentic training, or at the very least, getting the conversation started with Dr. D'Angelo's very brief but very articulate video available on YouTube. And I also think we need some similar training for students around those same topics. And also, what can the school board or administrators do to foster an environment where it's normal to speak up against any jokes that secretly tear people down on the inside, where it's normal and expected to appreciate differences, to ask questions respectfully instead of assuming, and judging, to be aware and care about another person's feelings and how important they are. I believe the answer is in direct social emotional teaching, but also ensuring we are representing a variety of cultures and ethnicities throughout the curriculum and integrated into many different subject areas. And then there are also some claims of administration ignoring reports of bullying and bigotry. And these are very serious accusations. So how do we know that they are being investigated and taken seriously by the school board? So I know there was a lot. I'll resend a copy of these comments to you all so you guys can properly note them on the meeting minutes and have time to go over them, you know. And thanks for listening. And as always, thank you for your service. You know, I know it's a lot that you guys are doing, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you.
Announcements. Oh, I actually forgot about this. November 5th, we have the fall meeting webinar at 6:30.
I think it's 5:30,
Our
6:30
time.
Eastern time.
I think so
5:30
too.
our time, yeah.
Okay. Thank you,
Tomorrow.
Deb Hayes, for putting that in the announcements.
Yes, thank you.
November 13th and 16th, the ISBA Student Due Process and Discipline Issues webinar. We do have some members signed up for that. And November 16th, we do have a regular board meeting scheduled at 7 p.m. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
John
Motion
Doherty,
to
so
adjourn.
moved.
Oh, go ahead, John.
John Doherty, so moved that we adjourn.
Ron Stojic, second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are adjourned.